All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Foxhole. All right. So, first topic of the day. We need to address the fact that I got 100,000 views on my last video. That's genuinely kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Not on YouTube, of course, but on Instagram, one of my reels got 100,000 views. I think that's pretty decent. For the first time, I mean, come on now. Round of applause, everybody. You know what I mean? We really did it. 100,000 views. So I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? I got like 30 more followers from it. If not, I'll link the Instagram in the bio. You know what I mean? Follow it. But nah, the video I got 100,000 views on was a video about how y'all didn't like how I was talking about Socrates. What? Really? Y'all were saying that I didn't know what I was talking about Socrates. Socrates is an organizer of thoughts. If y'all took organizer as an interior designer, y'all are retarded. I mean, come on now. Because I stated that Socrates was an organizer, not an organizer like an interior designer, dumbass. But, anyways, I'm not gonna fucking try to sit here and argue with y'all. I'm just gonna prove to y'all that I know what I'm talking about. And also, hopefully, educate you guys in the process. Because I like talking about Socrates. Socrates is honestly a really interesting man. So I got a couple stories down. I wrote from memory, and I mean, here y'all go. Phaedo. All right. Story of Phaedo is Socrates was actually, first of all, before we even talk about Phaedo, we should generally talk about who Socrates is as a person. If you don't know who Socrates is, he's a Greek philosopher that was wrongfully accused, at least in my opinion, wrongfully accused of miseducation of the youth, right? So they made him drink poison as his death sentence. So they technically didn't kill him. He committed suicide. But for miseducation of the youth. So if y'all want to debate on if that's a right reason to kill somebody, then I mean, y'all can have that debate. But either way, that's the facts. So in this period of him being convicted and him actually being dead, they had him in a holding cell. And two of his friends came to have a conversation with him about what he felt about at the moment while he was sitting in his holding cell. So Fido is this conversation they had. And, regarding the situation, they started to contemplate what life and death was. What is life? What is death? And honestly, Socrates' friends were way more scared for Socrates than Socrates was. I mean, Socrates was kind of chill, and they were wondering why. Why is Socrates so chill about dying? So, this was his reasoning for him being so chill. It was that death is just a release of the soul's attachment to the body. So, he believed that the soul and body are, first of all, separate, and that when you die, it deattaches and it goes somewhere else, and it isn't held back by the restraints and wants and sins of the human body. Because a philosopher's dream would be detached from being hungry, from being tired, from wanting lust, you know what I mean? From all these human things that we all genuinely want. When you die, your soul goes on and you start to learn and experience the universe as how it really is, and your detachment from this physical body is gone. And it was kind of hard for them to come up with the idea that the soul is separate from the body when you've been living inside your body for so long. I mean, it's kind of just a hard concept to grasp in general. You know what I mean? If you've been sitting in your body for your whole life, I mean, obviously you think you are you. That would be dumb to think that you aren't you. But that's not what we're saying here. What he is saying is that your soul is kept inside your body. And he states this and explains this with 4 solid points. So here are the 4 solid points. He states that everything has an opposite, right? And all of them rely on each other to exist in general, or else everything would be the same. And this comes from the idea that there can't be dark in the light and light in the dark, because light is light and dark is dark. And that's where that conversation ends, is that your soul is separate from your body. And when your body dies, it simply does not mean that your soul ceases to exist. It only means that your body has died and the light part of you goes on. And then he also makes another argument that we have lived a past life, that we have lived in what he calls a pattern plane. A pattern plane is that something we would only see objects, we would only see squares, we would only see triangles, simple geometric shapes that we see in a daily day. You know what I mean? Squares, triangles, like rectangles, all that shit. You know what I mean? So he was saying that we've genuinely never seen a perfect circle. I mean, this world isn't perfect. There is no perfect triangle. There is no perfect square. There is no perfect rectangle. There is no perfect anything in this world. Nothing is perfect. So how would we have the idea of a perfect circle and know what a perfect circle looks like if we have never seen a perfect circle? So that was his argument. Another one is that the soul has a connection to the gods. The gods are simply on the same plane as your soul. Your soul will carry on and be beyond you and eternal, such as the gods are. And your body is just something that this soul inhabits for a little bit. So, since your soul is on the same level as the gods, it is therefore eternal. Since you can get messages from the gods, it is therefore eternal. So, these are his reasonings for having this idea and having this concept and having this way of organizing these thoughts, and why he's so calm about death. Because he doesn't really care. I mean, you're just gonna go on somewhere, you're gonna exist somewhere else, you won't have this body, and you'll be fine. And that's just Phaedo, right? No, Phaedo. Look, I know these for the stories, not the names. These names are not the best, to be honest. But, I mean, Euthyphro, it's not a horrible name. Euthyphro is not a horrible name because Euthyphro is just a character in this next story. So, Euthyphro is a man that was a father of a son. The son had gotten murdered by another man. The father had locked up the man who killed his son in a ditch tied to his ankle and then held him there for the prisoners and policemen of Rome, not prisoners of Rome, policemen of Rome, to come capture him. So what ended up happening is they didn't come in time. Surprise, surprise, we're in Roman times. But what did happen is he died. So now Euthyphro's in the courthouse trying to explain to the judge why what he did was a good thing and why he shouldn't die for killing a man. And Socrates comes in and intervenes, as always, in Socratic fashion, and says what is good and bad, what is piety and impiety. And that is what the whole conversation of Euthyphro is. It is a conversation at a courthouse on what establishes piety and impiety, what is good and what is bad. and they kind of go back and forth for a while of kind of understanding what the question is saying and why he's saying it in such a way and what he means exactly. And then it kind of splits up into two official groups. Is what the gods believe good because it's good? Or is everything good because it's what the gods believe? And eventually they decide on the decision that everything is good because it is just inherently good. But the gods do a bunch of fucked up things. The gods kill each other, they murder each other, they do a bunch of fucked up shit. They rape each other, they eat each other's children. I mean, if we're talking about Kronos here, the first god of gods was literally eating his own children and then raping his chick to then eat his children. So if a god were to tell you, I'm gonna tell your baby to then, you know, go put it on top of a hill and leave it and come back, and you were like, why? And he was just like, because I said so. And you were like, why? And he was like, because I said so. Would it make it still good just because the gods believe in it? I mean, that's the whole question. And personally, no. I mean, that's idiotic to believe in. But that's the whole concept of what Socrates is talking about. And personally, I think in this scenario where you locked up a man in a hole, that's your fault. I mean, you did not feed him or give him any water, like, at all. You just left him in a ditch tied to his ankle. That's crazy. Like, what? That's crazy. But, yeah. If y'all want to know a little bit more about Socrates, I saw a little introduction, you know what I mean? Go do your own research. But don't say I'm miseducated in Socrates. Shit. Because I'm just simply not. And there you goes your proof, bud. Also, if you want to know my favorite one, Plato's Allegory of the Cave. That's a great one. But I really do want to talk about something that is genuinely crazy to me. Why was Biden a president for so long? Honestly. I mean, it's not like I'm a Republican. Don't say that at all, because I'm really not. But isn't he like old as shit? I mean, he dropped out, but like, that's crazy. Biden was a president for so long, and now we got Kamala. Kamala's. I'm not going to speak on her name. I simply will not say anything I will regret. But Biden was not a good president, to be honest with you. He did have to deal with a lot of shit, but I don't think I genuinely heard that man speak a full sentence in the last 2 years. Like, it's crazy. And you know, being young is really weird, to be honest with you. Being young is a state where you're just kind of, you go from like this floating leaf to something that's trying to be grounded. The best way I can describe it is like you're trying to find something you're good at, and it feels like you're in the dark and you're reaching for something invisible. You know what I mean? It's like you're just reaching everywhere and looking everywhere and like experiencing everything, and you're trying to find something you can grab and hold on to that makes you secure. And once you find that thing, you better hold on and start climbing. But most people don't find that thing. It's very kind of sad, to be honest with you. I'm looking at everybody around me. Nobody really has their thing. You know what I mean? Maybe a few businessmen, you know, people who got their shit together. It's people you see online. You know what I mean? People who generally got their shit together. Some people aren't online and they got their shit together, but man, Some people just go to their work 9 to 5 every day, repetitive shit, same old people, nothing new, paying bills, barely can pay, stressing all the time about absolutely nothing at all. Man, I just hope today you woke up and you could genuinely say you loved yourself. Because, I mean, I don't think there's any greater feeling than loving yourself. You know, if someone loved you, it'd be pretty nice. But if you can wake up and love yourself, I think you'll be all right. Mainly, this podcast was just kind of explaining why y'all need to learn about Socrates. Because Socrates is a cool ass dude. I'm not gonna lie. Dude was homeless and genuinely wrongly convicted. Never wrote a book in his life. All of it was recorded through Plato. And the story of Socrates was told through his friends. That first one, the Phaedo, it was told through his friends to another group of friends, which then told some philosophers that went to Plato's school, and then eventually told Plato, and Plato wrote it down. That's crazy. And this man is remembered for 2,400 years? Wow. Wow. I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, all right. Oh, yeah. I mean, what do y'all think? Yin and Yang? There's a study that just came out, quantum entanglement. I don't know who it was by, but I remember seeing it was on some like fucking paper I was reading. And quantum entanglement, they took two positive protons or some shit, and it looks like a fucking yin and yang sign, which is pretty crazy. Because the fact that yin and yang is what it was made in somewhere like had to be like 1100s. Yin and yang. I think it was like 1100s. Don't quote me on that, because I know y'all like to quote shit over here. You know what I mean? But uh nah. It does look pretty cool though. Yin and Yang has a lot of meaning to it. The light and the dark, a little bit in both. Keeps a balance to life. Kind of what Socrates is talking about. Alright. Well, if there's any way to end this, I think it is I'm gonna repeat it again. When you wake up today, I really hope that you can love yourself. Because there truly is nothing more beautiful than loving yourself, man. I think everybody should be able to have the chance to wake up and look in that mirror and be proud of themselves. And I hope everybody works towards it every single day. Doses. Love yourself, homie.